Welcome to I'm Doing Well. This is my podcast, and this is probably the most impromptu episode yet. See, I always do my podcast, I know when I'm going to record them, and usually it gets pushed out a day or so. Usually I'll tell myself, oh, Saturday night. Saturday night, I'm going to record this thing. It's going to, be recorded Saturday. I'll edit Sunday, and then boom, post it like Sunday night, like on YouTube, and then hit upload Monday morning. That's always the plan. Actually, if you go back to the beginning of this podcast, like, episode 1, I said, I think I'm going to try to record these things Friday and then post them every Monday. And I've been recording them like every Sunday night, Monday morning since then. So, you say things and then, sometimes they don't end up that way. But this, when I'm recording this now, this is Friday. I'm bubbling over here. Call me champagne and pop me. That's actually bad. That's not. The connotation of popping champagne and popping a person, very different. One's a cause of celebration, and the other could be a cause of celebration, depending on what side you're on. But, mostly bad. Mostly bad. Yeah. But, I didn't know I was going to record this until like 5 minutes ago. I just found myself with like the perfect amount of time to do this. I'm all dolled up with nowhere to go, except I do have somewhere to go. I don't have to be there quite yet. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I had an option in my head, Do I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, maybe like 2 episodes of that, 3 episodes, or do I record my podcast? And I was like, oh, well, I showered, I shaved, I've done all the things that I do to like before I record. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Let me just record the podcast. It's guys, we're doing great. Folks, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Was this, this proactiveness, was it a stroke of luck? Sure. Yeah, it wasn't planned and it's not in my, it wasn't because of my doing or will. But I mean, I'm doing it, you can't knock yourself for something great just because it was happenstance or chance. I don't know. I've never been able to use the word happenstance. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But this is the most impromptu podcast yet, because usually, even the ones that are pretty impromptu, they're still like, you got to take the shower, you got to like trim the hair before, then you got to shower, then you got to let the hair dry for an hour. Usually there's like 2 to 3 hours where the idea is simmering that I'm going to do a podcast. But with this one, I just turned it on and I'm going. You know what's crazy also? Besides like an hour in the morning, I haven't talked to another human today. I don't know how social you guys are, but like, okay, I don't think this is a commentary on my social life. It's just like the day to day isn't always snapping and popping, we're not snap, crackling, and popping. We're not Rice Krispies up in this, you know what I'm saying? There's like full days where I don't see a human. And you might be like, oh, do you see one outside the window, right? Like you see one human, that's kind of extreme. Like you see them, you just don't talk to them. No, there's entire days I don't see a human being. I think the past 2 days I haven't seen a human being because I haven't gone outside. Like I've been editing a video in the afternoons or the evenings, I guess. And I actually just posted that an hour ago, actually 50 minutes ago. Wow. I posted that video 50 minutes ago. It's the 5 things every engineer should know. Boom. This video. And yeah, I've been working on that. And the last few days I work on a video, there's usually not a lot of sunlight. I'm not getting much D, It's like, oh God, is this a repeat of last week? No, I'm not going to, I promise I'm not going to talk that much about, sunny D. But actually, no, that's what I'm talking about, vitamin D. The last couple days I'm wrapping up a video, I don't go outside. And it's a very, if a doctor was to evaluate the last like the days leading up to an upload, they'd be like, what are you doing? And I'll be like, I'm trying to upload a video. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I have this target in my mind and I need to meet it or else, it's going to ruin my whole weekend. And this is making my weekend even better that I get to record this before the weekend. Now I don't have to do it during the weekend. Oh my God, this is great. But it's, I think, maybe a big push to record this now also. Like I said, I could have watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Why am I not doing that? That's like so much better, right, than talking to yourself in a room. But it's because I do have like a pretty busy weekend. I have like due dates coming up, and I do need these next 48 hours like pretty badly. So if we can min max this thing, optimize, that's great. So let's do it. Let's record this podcast, you know? See, actually, well, the problem with doing this though is I say, I don't have anything to talk about sometimes, but I still have like topics I can go to. This one, sincerely, truly, I don't know what to talk about. So let's just, when you don't know what to talk about, I find in real life that there's something good about not having anything to talk about, because then you just have to resort to the truth. That's not true though, because if you don't have anything to talk about, you could go two different ways. You could tell the truth, or you could just make up all the lies you want in the world. But I find, that's exhausting. And if I'm going to talk, I don't want to be, I don't want it to be exhausting. So most times I think you default to the truth. And then those are really cool conversations, because when you have something to work with, like let's say you have an experience. Let's say I had an experience this week. I can take that and then, mold that, flesh it out, floof it or whatever, and like turn it into this story, right? You can add parts to it and like really go off on tangents and everything. But when you don't have that, when you don't have a base to your pizza, what's gonna rise? What are you putting yeast in? Yeah, great analogy, Gauruv. I know. Thank you. That's why I do this. But yeah, there's like nothing to really like throw around and play with when you have nothing. So you just got to look inward and look at, oh, what do I have? And that's the truth. But the thing is, like, I don't like telling, like, the truth is what is in your life. But like I've mentioned many a time, I don't like telling people about my life. And I've actually been thinking about this week. Like, how do you talk to people? Because like social interactions, you go and like the first usual, flurry of questions will usually contain somewhere in there like, oh, what have you been up to? And it's like, I've been up to things, but I don't want to tell you, like, I don't want to tell anyone, like, they're just my things. Like, I can't see, I was about to give an example, but I'm like, I don't even want to. I don't want to tell you what I do. And so, but sometimes, like, you have to. And that's why sometimes this podcast gets weird, because I break through that barrier and I allow myself to dip into the truths and tell you too much, because I don't have anything else to say. So I'm just like, well, I gotta talk about the one thing I know, and that's me. But the thing is, I don't want anyone to know anything about me. So yeah, sometimes also this is gonna be bad. I've noticed something about these podcasts. When I record them days before they get uploaded, I think about them way too much for those days leading up to the post, because that's still when you can fix something. That's still when it's, in your control. It's still in your control when it goes out there. But now, the second you upload it, someone can download it and have it forever, But as long as it's not out there in the public, you have full control of it. And so when I record these things, in advance, like Saturday, Friday, I just think about, oh my God, I said that thing. I got to change that thing, and I still have time. This is perfect. So you always think like, it's that same thing, right? When you work on an essay, or anytime you're writing something, or anything creative, you can work on it forever. Like it's very important to have a due date, I find, because if you don't have a due date, you can always find something wrong with it. And that's actually something I struggle with, making videos. Like, you just have to be okay saying that something's a final product, even though it can be better, because everything in the world can be better. But you just have to be this. I don't want to like, this is, I don't want to diminish art with this statement, but like, sometimes you have to be, like, I think you have to be cool with good enough, even though it could be an amazing product. That's the thing. Your good enough could be amazing, but it's good enough to you, because it could be excellent or better or just exceeding standards. So you could spend like time on anything forever, but there's eventually a time when you have to say, okay, this is good enough. You can never study fully for a test. You just have to know enough to get a certain grade, which is passing or an A, depending on your situation. If it's before college, maybe focus on an A. If it's college, maybe focus on passing. Or just getting the right grades to be able to switch your major. It's whatever you're working towards. Sometimes I think you just got to be cool with good enough. And I don't think there's any shame in that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's okay. I think that's good enough. So yeah, I don't know how how did I get on this topic? I was talking about you can always be thinking, oh yeah, this podcast. Yeah, because when I give myself those 2 days, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't like that I said this. I don't like this. Well, yeah, but that's every episode. And so when I record them usually, Sunday night, Monday morning, it's actually perfect. And maybe that's why I subconsciously procrastinate. It's because I know that if I wait that long, I won't give myself the chance to second guess it. So because when something is, on Sunday or Monday, then it's like, well, it's going up. You don't have time now. It's due every Monday, and post it. Okay. So I think that's why people procrastinate, right? Why do people procrastinate? What was the point I just made? I mean, people procrastinate because they know, there's something, it's both terrifying and comforting that at this time it will, when a test is at 10 a.m. on a Friday, it's terrifying because time is finite, even though actually isn't the concept of time infinite, but what I'm talking about in our relative situation, it's finite, it's 10, like a week, days, hours, what I'm talking about. So 10 a.m., there's something very terrifying about, oh my God, I only have this amount of time before 10 happens. And then whatever I've spent these hours, minutes, seconds doing, it has to be good enough for that. But then there's something also so comforting, knowing that after 10 a.m., it'll be over. It'll be over. You don't have to worry about it again. Well, sorry, until the next test. There's always the next test. There always is. Isn't that a shame? There's always next time. See, that also, though, is good and bad. There's always next time. Fail a test? That's great that there's a next time, You get broken up with? That sucks, so there has to be a next time. Or it could be good. See, there's so many, you don't know. Life is a flow diagram, and we're just riding the waves, bro. We're just riding the current. I don't know if it's come. I'm also, I'm on 4 hours of sleep. I don't think that plays into this. I actually, on the walk from over there to here, when I walked these 5 feet, I did I questioned myself in my head. I'm like, do you want to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Or do you want to record this podcast? And everything told me, actually what my brain was telling me wasn't one of those two options. All my brain was telling me was don't record the podcast. I was like, that wasn't one of the options. It was like, well, that's the option I'm going with. I'm like, okay, that's not. Because I was like, do I want to do this or do this? And my brain was like, how about you just don't do this for sure? And I was like, that's okay. You're bending the rules. Technically you answered, but that's not exactly what I was asking. I really didn't feel like doing this, but I never feel like doing any videos. That's a lie. I do really feel like making videos, but it's one of the scariest, not the scariest, but the hardest thing in life for me, I've found personally, is starting. But once I've started, it's the best. Oh my God, I can't stop. Editing a video, just putting the clips into Final Cut and then cutting them up is the hardest thing. But then once I start editing, I can't stop. So it's a lot of the time when my videos take a while, it's not that the editing is taking a while. It's the mental game that's getting in the way. I won't edit a day because I'm yep. Every day is a battle to start. Even though I've already started the process, every day is a new start. That's one of the hard things about life. That every day when you wake up, that's another one of those things, double-edged sword, right? It's one of the best things and one of the hardest things, that every day is a new start. Because, that's awesome. You get a clean slate, essentially. I know maybe you have homework, maybe you have stuff at work. Things carry over, obviously. It's life. But for those next 16 hours, if you sleep well, which I don't, if you sleep well, you get those 16 hours, and that's, you make that day that blank canvas, you paint that picture, and then that's the day and the thing. It's like, when people make Rubik's Cube art, people put like one Rubik's Cube. Every day is a Rubik's Cube. And then you put one Rubik's Cube every day. And after a year, you have like this painting that was that year. Does that analogy track? You know what I'm talking about? But sometimes I think it's overwhelming when you think about the giant Rubik's Cube art piece. Because you're like, how am I going to make that? It's like, just focus on one day at a time. And then you feel devastated, right? When one day doesn't go well. And you're like, well, I screwed up one Rubik's Cube. How am I ever going to recover? It's like, just, don't get hung up on it and keep going, I guess, right? That's all you got to do. Yeah. Life is tough. Yeah. I mean, this is just a mindset thing, right? What I'm talking about, like, you can think about things sucking because they all do, or you can think about things being awesome, which they do too. Like, life sucks and is awesome at the same time, And it's obviously I don't want to get into like, people that are born into just the worst situations, like extreme poverty and like war and shit. Like, obviously for them, that's mostly bad. It's like, it's hard to see the good in every day, What are you gonna, yeah. So it's, I don't want to give into that, the motivational speaker thing where they're like, it's all mindset, you just have to keep thinking positive and you'll have a positive life. It's like, no, you won't. Okay. Just, but now it's me having a negative thought. Ooh, he's been, been hoisted by his own petard. But I don't like that. I don't like motivational speakers. I haven't talked about this. I don't like motivational speakers. No. Okay. There's a certain like brand of motivational speakers. It's those like grind every day motivational speakers. They don't sit well with me because it's just a stupid lifestyle to try to glamorize. Overworking yourself. I mean, that's cool. When someone does hard work, you're like, kudos to you. That's awesome. It should be celebrated. But I don't think you should strive to work hard. In isolation, that phrase might not be the greatest, but you shouldn't, like, the goal shouldn't be to work hard. You should just work hard certain times to meet your goal. It's weird to like, your trophy is that you have a well-oiled, like, productive machine. Like, I don't know. Now we're getting into maybe active income versus passive income. Ooh, is he going to talk about pyramid schemes? No, I don't. I don't want to talk about pyramid schemes. Yeah. But yeah, motivational speakers, man. I ain't about it. But some are good. I've talked about him here, Simon Sinek, this guy. I don't know if he's a motivational speaker, but I like all his points. Like, he's human, But like, the Gary V, the Tony Robbins, those guys suck. So yeah, this is, very impromptu. And I'm only stating that because I don't know what to talk about now. I hope you see, this is weird because usually I think a video will, be out for a few days. And I can be like, oh, this video is doing well. It's not doing well. The video's been out for 64 minutes at the time I'm recording this. So I don't know. I don't know how it's doing. But now I'm getting more, my channel's getting more populated with engineering stuff, which is cool. I have some cool ideas in the future. I think those are good. It's tough. I was happy with the idea of this past video, but I don't know, the execution of it. I don't know if I like the second half of the video. I think it kind of fell short. But this isn't, don't listen to me. I'm biased because immediately after I post a video, I don't like it. So that's who you're listening to. 65 minutes ago I posted it. Don't believe me. Okay. This isn't the guy you want to talk to about my videos. That's a weird sentence. Yeah. I'm very biased. I'm my worst critic. Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys do this? I do this. I don't know if I've ever said this out loud, but I think I've said, now, let me present you with the idea. I know that I am the meanest to myself. Like, actually, not that I'm the meanest. That might not be true. But I'm like, I think the most messed up stuff about myself. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm like my own bully, Like, to myself, I like point out certain things. I'm like, look at that. I'm like, hey, stop looking at that. It's like, no, look at it. Look how inadequate you are in that. And you're like, no, stop. Yeah. Are you guys your own worst bully? Because I think I am. Like I'm pretty mean to myself, and it's all like mental. Like I don't physically beat myself up, but like up there, oh my god! And that arena, the cage match, oh, it is brutal. You know, teeth are flying, blood is squirting. That sounds weird to say. Blood is squirting. Blood is spewing. That's more right. Oh, and then there's something that you could say like it's weird if a squirt gun is spewing. Okay, see that's gross. See, squirting and spewing have their own lanes. I think they should stay in them. You know, I don't think there should be much overlap there. And if they are, you know, they better use their signals. Is that what it's called? Turn signals, because I need to be fully notified that you're spewing over, spilling over into our lane. Yeah. See, so now I'm thinking, what do I talk about, right? And the immediate thing I went to was, oh, what'd you do this week? And the first thing I thought was like work. I was like, no, you can't. Don't talk about that. You know, I don't want to talk about work. So I'm not going to. Work's good. Nope. See, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But then what else do I talk about? You know, I went to, this is interesting. No, it's not. I always say that. I always say, this is interesting. And then I always follow it up with, no, it's not. Because I put myself in my place. You see, I'm my own worst bully. I went to Shaw's. Do you know Shaw's? If you've gone to Davis, you know what Shaw's is. Shaw's Halal Food, or Shaw's Halal Truck. I don't know what it's called. But it's a food truck, and it's Shaw's. That's what it's known as. And I went there with a friend earlier this week, and this is the first time I've gone to Shaw's, you know, since the pandemic. So since actually the last time I got Shaw's was with this friend of mine. It was back in probably February, January 2020, you know, before the old Pandy, St. Pandy's Day. And it was the first time I had it. I was like, oh, this is so good. And when I went up there, I ordered and I went back to my friend, and my friend was like, you not come here? Like, they're always here. Like, I feel like their hours are pretty solid. It's like they're always around lunch, dinner. Like, you don't eat here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why not? You like their food? I'm like, yeah, I do. But can I be honest? He was like, no, don't be honest. I was like, okay, see, that's why you're my friend. No, I was like, can I be honest? It's because I don't know how to say the word gyro or gyro or hero or whatever, you know? And so I don't want to be, what is it? I don't want to be subjected to that social pressure of having to pronounce that word. But I did it for him, you know? Because he's my friend. I did it. We went to Shaw's. I was like, I'll hunker down. I'll bolster up. I'll be strong for you. And I went up there and I said, one chicken hero? And the guy was like, one chicken bowl? I was like, no, one chicken gyro. Excuse me, how do you say it? Can you just tell me how to say it? He's like, it's gyro. I was like, gyro. He was like, yeah. I was like, okay. Great. Now I'll come here, you know? And so I did. The next day, I went to Shaw's again. Because, you know, I don't go there for, 17 months? And now I'm a regular? Look at me. So I go there, and I walk up, and the same guy's working. And he's like, you know, can I take your order? And I say, can I get one chicken, and I forgot how to say it. So I said, can I get one chicken hero? I was like, excuse me, but can you remind me how to say it? He's like, it's gyro. And that's when I remembered it. First, because I embarrassed myself. And then second, because I was like, oh, it's like gyroscope. And I don't think that's right. Like, I don't think that's actually how you pronounce it. But that's how the guy working the truck says it. So now I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. He does, obviously. That's how you say it. Gyro. So if you say it any other way, just know you're an idiot. Okay? You're a stupid fool. And what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? You're like, why am I not succeeding in life? I fail to see how it's not self-evident to you. Huh? Saying these wrong words. How about you know the nomenclature? Huh, pal? How about you be well-read and know that it's pronounced gyro? Okay? How about you get some stability? You know, how about you be a gyro? You know, and be stable. Okay. And I also learned Shaw's, I don't know, insider secrets here, if you're in Davis, insider secret, if you go up the first time, I went with my friend and I ordered a water, you know? And I went and waited with my friend. And he was like, "Oh, did you get a drink?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, they give you a free Pepsi with your meal." And I was like, "What?" So then the next day, redemption. Messed up on the name, but okay, I'll get this drink thing down. I go, chicken gyro. He says, "Anything else?" I say, "No, sir. That's all I'll take." I tip him 20%, because he's now a teacher, an instructor in my life. You got to pay respect. So I go and wait, and I'm like, okay, cool, cool. So I didn't order a drink. This is great. He's gonna offer me a Pepsi, and it's, I'm gonna be a businessman, and I do business, man. And he says, "One chicken gyro." I go up, and he shuts the door in my face. I was like, I'm just kidding. He hands it to me and says, "You want a Pepsi or a water?" And then I realized, oh my God, water was an option too? That means I just paid for water just because I ordered it? I just did things how they were supposed to be done, and I had to pay for it? What? Yeah, he said Pepsi or water. And I said, "Oh, I try to act surprised, Oh, a free drink." Oh my, what a nice gentleman. Yeah, I'll take a Pepsi since you're offering, I wouldn't have, it's just because you're being so nice. I wouldn't have gotten this any other way. I get a Pepsi. I'm walking through the parking lot, and it's hard to describe. Like, it's even like to someone that knows that area, I don't really know how to describe it, but there was a car turning like into the parking lot, and I was walking like across, and I had to cross through this entrance. And so I stopped because, cars are huge, and this person turns in, and then they stop right next to me. And I was like, it's not a parking space. This is an opening to a parking lot. This is an entrance. There's no loitering here, especially not in the automobile that you're in. And her passenger window was already down. I was like, this could go like one of few ways, and they're all good. No, I was just like very curious. And then she stops, and then she looks over, and she's like, "Hey, you're the UC Davis video guy, right?" And I was like, yes, yeah, hi. My name's Gauruv." And she said, "Okay, yeah, cool. Bye." And then she drove off. And I thought that was hilarious. Usually when I meet people in real life, I like to ask their name, because I want to remember it in case I see them again. But I don't know if it was because she was in a moving car. I just got the vibe that let's just let her, let her go on with her day. And yeah, she's like, "Hi. Okay, bye." And then she drove off. And it's interesting. I forgot like what it's like. Oh, this sounds shitty. See, I always feel weird. Like, I don't tell anyone about this. I only tell like Hoyer about this because it doesn't feel gross. But like getting recognized, see, it's like it's gross, to talk about, because it's like self-grandizing. Is that what the word is? I don't know. I usually say, you're getting yourself off. You know what I'm saying? But it's weird because we haven't been on campus in like however long. So like I forgot. This sounds stupid. I forgot that people knew who I was. Because yeah, I've become like, I forgot that like, and then I got thinking when I came back to my apartment, I was like, oh my God, like real people watch my videos. I've talked about this before, but it's weird. It's not, so weird has a bad connotation. This is weird in a good way. This is like totally weird in a welcoming way, like bring that in, more of that. Can I get seconds? I would love more of that. And I was like, oh, and it was nice. Anytime I gain perspective, it's really nice. And so that gave me the perspective that, oh yeah, real people watch my videos. I I forget. You don't understand how often, not how often I forget that, but how hard that is to grasp. It doesn't. It's never made sense. It still doesn't make sense. I don't know how to think about it, and I don't think I'm supposed to think about it. Like I don't think there's much you're supposed to do with that train of thought. I think it just happens, and then you just move on, and that's it. But it's nice. I remember when I was a sophomore, every Friday I would meet with my friend Abrion. Is it Abrion's channel? Or both of her channels? Or yeah, both of her channels? She has two. She hasn't posted on one in like 7, 8 months. But I would talk with my friend Abrion my sophomore year, her junior year. She's a year older than me. We would talk every Friday. I think it was like fall, winter quarter. Or no, winter, spring quarter, my sophomore year. We would talk for like an hour or two every Friday in the Memorial Union, the bowling alleys. I think I mentioned this in an early episode. I remember we were talking and then we got up to leave because she had to catch the bus, and these two guys approached me and they beat me up. I was like, oh my god, that's why I should work out. No, they didn't do that. Two very nice gentlemen approached me and then they said, hey, you're the guy. I was like, yep. And they were like, hey, bro, why haven't you posted in so long? And this is when I took a weird, unplanned hiatus. Like, I didn't post for a month. And it was right before I posted my day in the life video. Boom. This one. And it was like a week before I posted that. And then they told me, they were like, yeah, bro, we love videos. We love the wilts. You know, they were watching at that time. They were like, we can't wait for the next wilt. I was like, oh my God, holy shit. Anytime someone like makes a reference to your videos, it's, it's, it's a special kind of special because it means they care. Because I have had people, you know, like you can tell, you can tell they don't know. And some people are a little too like forward with it. Like one time, I think my junior year, I went to the Segundo DC to have dinner with someone, and I got up to go get chocolate chip mint ice cream, and I got recognized by like a group of 5 or 6 girls, and there was one guy in the group actually, and the girls started taking pictures with me, and then the guy got next to me, you know, shoulder to shoulder, or more like shoulder to like my nipple. I could have just said shoulder to shoulder. I didn't need, I was just trying to get more context of the story so you can see like his head's like right here more. Not like we're like here, you know, like I don't know why, but I was like that you need that context. It will make this story. But this guy comes up to me and I'm like, oh yeah, let's do a picture. He was like, can I get a picture? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then as he was taking a picture, he was like, awesome, yeah, I have no idea who you are. I was like, okay. And then he was like, I just, you know, everyone's getting a picture, so it'd be stupid not to get one. I was like, that's a mindset. that's a that's reasoning. I don't know if it's valid, but it's reasoning. It's so yeah. Some people are a little too forward, and you're like, oh okay. And then some people, I find the most forward people are the ones that like they want they want like the most out of it. I remember one girl. Um, I know her name, and I this girl. It was actually in that group of 6 girls. She was like, "Can I be in your video?" I was like, what video? What am I working? I'm not working on anything right now." And she's like, "Oh, just your next one." I was like, okay. What do you propose? Like, what should we do?" And she's like, "Oh no, you can just record me now. I carry a camera on me at all times when I'm on campus." Um, I didn't really like the last year because I stopped doing wilts, but it's a thing I like to do. Just have my camera on me, the little handheld one, you know, the point and shoot, the G7X Mark II, the one I got 4 years ago. That I started YouTube with. Yeah, I started the entire website of YouTube with that camera, and I was like, "Oh, what?" She was like, "You can just record me now, and I'll just say, oh, like and subscribe, and then you can just put that at the end of your video." I was like, "You're right. I could do that. I don't want to." In my head, I was like, "I don't want to." so, so what I told her was, I was like, "You know what? I don't really have a good idea for a video right now. I will. How about I keep you in mind, and next time I run across you, you're in the video. How about that? Sound good?" And she's like, "Okay, but I'll hold you to it." I was like, "You do that." Name, and yeah, no, I never saw her again in real life. So, phew, you know, you know. uh, which is actually a shame because you know in my most recent video, the outro to me was like a very weak part of the video. So yeah, I could have used her. Where are you? I needed you. You disappeared when I needed you most. How will I ever go on? You know? So yeah. And then see, this isn't something I like talking about. Like when people recognize me, because it feels gross, right? It feels gross. Because look at you. People know you. Yeah, you know? It's but I don't know what to talk about. So I just have to resort to my life. And something I've actually noticed about the podcast is anytime I start, this is a little, I don't know if this, like maybe it's just a coincidence because correlation doesn't equal causation. Shout out to AB Stats, Mr. Okasaka. I don't know if this is true, but I've seen the correlation. Anytime I have the title of a podcast start with I, like I blank, it does better, like by a lot. And like double the people listen to it, which is very interesting to me. And I realize, sometimes when I talk to people, they're like, I want to know, can you do a Q&A? Like, I just want to know about you. And I'm like, like, I know the channel is centered around me, but I'm like, I don't want you to know things about me. So yeah, I wonder, is that why those podcasts do better? Because I say I because I'm the subject, and it means I'm gonna talk about me, not Richard Sporting Goods. I had that title actually start with, I had it originally titled, before I even posted it, I had it titled I'm fascinated by Richard, but I was like, what does that even mean? And I just wanted to do the play on words of Richard Sporting Goods because I thought it was funny. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Like the people that are going to listen to this are going to listen to it. Who cares if I change the title? But I'm just doing this, for fun, to post every week. So, don't, you have some fun, play around, test some things, test some different variables. Yeah. So yeah, but I notice when you keep it about yourself, which is weird because it's a nice problem to have. Like I remember I did that collab. When was it? A year ago? Yeah, it was because it was right before the pandemic. I did that video with UDJ. We did a few videos, but this is his channel. I'll put here. I remember UD telling me like, oh yeah, he makes all these college videos and all these informational videos about like visas and like being a foreign, like, what is it called? International. I almost said foreign exchange student. That's not what it is. It's an international student. He makes videos on like school, international students, that whole thing. And he posts vlogs as well, like sometimes. And he was actually telling me, he was like, it sucks. My vlogs get like way more views than my school videos. I was like, but that's great. That's right where you want to be. That means people are there for you, not just the thing. Something, I am very aware of is there's a lot of people that have subscribed to me and stuff because of Davis. I know they're not there for me. I've seen some people, it's tough. Some people think this number is like for them on social media. It's just because they do a certain thing, but they think it's for them as a person. It's like, that's tough. Because sometimes you have to see the realization and you're like, oh no. And so I realized like I'm mostly a utility as a window into UC Davis. And I understand that. So I don't feel bad when like people don't care about me because I don't have my expectations there. But UD, I was like, that's perfect. I was like, that's what you want. People, that means no matter what you do, people will watch. And he's like, yeah, but I want to be able to I want to be like informative. I want to be able to educate the world. And I was like, oh, well, I think you can keep doing that. But, I think if you should show a little bit of yourself off too, because it seems like people like that. And I say that, but here I am, 18 months later, not even following my own advice. Like I see it. People obviously care about me, but I nope. Dare I say it again? I've been hoisted by my own petard once again. Oh my God, I said it again. This room looks different also. It's interesting because usually when I record, it's also very late. Like we're talking anywhere from 1 to 6 a.m. So this is like, oh, you can see there's, not much, but there's some natural light coming into the room. It's 8:20 p.m. right now. So, there's not like too much sunlight, but there is some. Some is more than none. Do you know that? I don't know if you took AP stats like me, but some is more than none. So it does like light the room up a little more. If you go to the other podcast, you can see what I'm talking about. It's a little lighter. Like usually it's pretty dark back there. So yeah. We got about, I think, 6 more minutes left, if I remember correctly. This has been great. Awesome. Like this is, great. I always like watch those YouTubers and I'm always fascinated when they like at the beginning of the video, they're like, well, let's just do this video. I just had a quick 20 minutes before I'm going to go somewhere. So I decided, why don't I record a video? And I'm always like, what? Like it takes so much mental preparation to like get to the point of getting in front of this camera. And I'm always so like, wow, they just, they woke up like this. They woke up like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and here I am. I woke up like this. Well, I showered and then I had a whole day, but you know what I'm saying? Like this is impromptu, as I said before. But I'm always fascinated by that when people just turn on the camera. And I usually saw it in podcasts. Like people will be like, "Well, I'm about to like go out for the night, but let's just do this podcast." And that's what I'm doing. Oh my God, look at me. I'm growing up. I'm growing up. I don't know if you guys do this. I saw this on Twitter, so I don't know if it's real. But someone talked about this thing called like a waiting period, and it's where if you have an appointment, I actually is it waiting period or waiting stage? Like it's when you have an appointment at like 2 p.m. That whole morning you can't do anything because you're just thinking about that meeting. Like you have to get that meeting done, dentist appointment, whatever, before you can like actually start working on stuff. I feel like I have that a lot. Like if I have something like that day, all the time leading up to that point is pretty unproductive because I'm just like thinking about that thing, and I'm in that waiting period. I don't remember what they called it, but someone like articulated it on Twitter, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I feel sometimes. So yeah, when you do these like impromptu recordings, you like you're like flexing that muscle. You're like working that thing that you never do. And so that's cool. This is my first time. Maybe this will mean I can record a normal video, you know, impromptu as well. I won't have to like prepare for days and stuff and just second guess myself. I can just get up and go. And I already talked about this many a time, but I found, when I'm less prepared, it usually turns out better because that's the thing. You got to dip into your bag of tricks. And when you don't have anything, you just got to rely on the burping on camera. You just got to rely on the truth, you know? So I've made myself vulnerable just from a lack of preparedness. But then it is, the result is a better presentation. Yeah. The thing is, if you know a lot about something, I think that's so interesting. I was going to say, if you know a lot about something, it's easier to go into a presentation unprepared. But that's stupid to say because you are so prepared. If you know a lot about something, that means you're prepared. So that's stupid to say, Gar. Obviously. But I find if you like really stick to your notes with something, I feel like it's not as good as a presentation. Oh, this is obvious too, damn it. I was gonna say, if you're more just like fluent in it and you're just speaking it like it's a language, that is like gives for the best presentation, which is obvious. Anytime you're fluent in something, it's a better presentation. Doug Garv, what are you talking about, dude? God, get your head in the game, Zach. Oh, I almost said Zach Bolton. Troy Efron? No, Troy Bolton and Zach Efron. Get your head in the game, Troy Bolton, okay? Get up here, bro. So yes, this podcast, I think it went fine. It was, I hope, I don't know. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Love the comments. The comments always make me feel great. Leave a like. Really, the likes make me feel awesome too. Any engagement, really. Any engagement. I would love that. So yes, I think this was maybe a minute or two short, but I don't want to like go off on some random thing that's nothing. So we're just gonna stop here. I hope you're okay with that. I'm not used to recording on Fridays. Cut me some slack. Okay? So I'll talk at you next week. We'll do this next week. And yeah, see you then. Okay. Bye.